those of you that are watching us from the comfort of your home live streamed, and from those of you that joined us here tonight. So there are a couple of things I want to report on. The first one has to do with our co-curricular clubs and advisors. So I apologize to the students who have been caused unnecessary distress and anxiety, thinking that we are not going to be approving club advisors to move forward for this year. All of our clubs that have been board approved, those get board approved at their inception, and what we do each year is we approve faculty advisors to oversee those clubs. And it seems that there's been some misinformation spread about what our intentions are with the club, so I'm hoping that I can clarify that tonight, and I know some of our board members will be speaking to this as well, because this was a topic we spent a significant amount of time on last week in our committee meetings. So the list of co-curricular advisors on tonight's board agenda for approval is just our first wave of approvals. As everyone knows, this is a very unusual school year, which we are only in the second week of, and so we are trying to very carefully and thoughtfully move forward with planning for the school year for what will be a lot of many non-traditional events and activities. The board and administration's goal is to get as many clubs up and running as possible. For many of the clubs governed by overarching organizations, robotics being one of them, and I know we've received some correspondence about that, we're awaiting additional guidelines on what the season will look like. And this is true for a lot of our clubs that are governed by overarching organizations and have competitions. Robotics, for example, has announced that they are going to have their culminating competitions, but instead of those being in April, as they generally are, they're going to be over the summer. So there's something right away that we need to make sure that before we approve advisors for those positions, we want to make sure that they're available and willing to oversee those events over the summer, because we don't want to shortchange the students, and we want to make sure that that the new version of the season we're able to actually follow through on taking the students through that. And if there are less competitions for some of these clubs, we have, we talked to the advisors about the fact that we want to work collaboratively with them to develop a plan for what a non-traditional season will look like, so that the students still get as meaningful of an experience as possible, even if it doesn't look like what their traditional season looks like. So these were all the conversations we had. This was what was communicated to the advisors. So again, I apologize for any misinformation that was put out there. And so we are looking to approve more clubs in the coming weeks as the board continues to evaluate them at our committee meetings, and as the administration works with the advisors to outline what the expectations will be for the students. So I know, I got an email that 85% of our clubs have been canceled. No clubs have been canceled. I can tell you that. It is possible that, that some particular clubs in the end could end up not running for various reasons. That is not our plan right now. For example, some of the other club advisors that are not on there for approval are simply because we're trying to fill vacancies, and we don't have staff who apply for those positions. That happens with coaching positions, it happens with teaching positions. So our goal is to get all of these, as many of these clubs as possible up and running, and to do it in a timely manner, but I do ask for your patience, as this is obviously a very different year than usual. And a lot of our clubs do not start immediately in September anyway. A lot of them, the competitions and the practices for them and the preparation do not start till later in the fall, and in some cases even in the winter. So we are working diligently towards that. I can assure you, and I know the board members will speak to this later, that we all have the same goal, and we are trying to provide as many, for lack of a better term, normal experiences for our students during a very abnormal year. It's just we may not be able to provide those in the ways that we have in the past. So we want to be very thoughtful about how we structure those to make sure that the students get a meaningful experience. And in some cases, they may get enhanced experience because of the creative ways that they figure out how to run these clubs and activities. So that is our goal, and I hope that this clears up any miscommunication about the board and the administration's goals with regard to co-curricular clubs and activities. But I can assure you that is our collective goal. I also do want to update the board and the public on our mascot exploration committee, which we had discussed, I think it was back in July.